great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of disease.
Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. It's your boy, Jim Hacking. This is episode 955 of the Immigration Answer Show. Today's the third day of December, Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. I'm here with my good friend, Lady Baez. Lady, how are you? She's good. Awesome. Lady's already got some people in the waiting room for me to talk to. I thought we would do a little roll call today. We haven't done roll call in a while. Swank City Nails gives us greetings from Idaho Falls. Lots of snow today, along with the immigration authorities trying to ice, no pun intended, green card applications and visas. Levinsky says, how do I get in the green room? You look down below in the comments for the link. Expedited N400 interview scheduled. That's interesting. Not often that you hear about an expedited N400. I got GNG UTech. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. And we'll go from there. June is telling people what's what. Hello, June. How are you? Manchester 9565. I've just applied for my citizenship. Will the ban affect me? It's not supposed to. Happy Wednesday, says our friend Searing. Oh, no. We got a virtual Utah wedding. Now I'm trying to apply for my sponsorship in Canada, but it's not recognized in Canada, even though we have met. I don't know why anyone would start their immigration journey with a virtual Utah wedding. That's just giving them a big reason to slow down your case and mess around with you. Does anyone know how to get around this situation? Yeah, get a real marriage. Sonia says, good afternoon, everyone. Waiting for the link. It should be posted. I think I saw it. Patricia, our good friend Patricia says, good afternoon. I hope you're enjoying this cold Wednesday. Craig Jones giving a big ups. So big ups to all the Yardies, not just to me, but to Donna and Ryan and Craig and Phoenix and all of our favorite Jamaicans. Big ups to all the Yardies. I got Happy Bowling here. Hello, everyone. Erica says, happy Wednesday, everyone. Challenge your wallet. Aaron Lynn says, good afternoon from Missouri. Good day. Our friend Shauna says, Shauna always gives us good, optimistic posts. I always like her stuff. Joey points out that the Jets have won 3 of their last 5. Now, I saw that since November 1st, the Jets have better winning records than the Colts and the Chiefs. So that's sort of fun because you know how much I hate the Chiefs. JV says hello. It's getting a lot tougher here in Texas, I bet. Dammy's here. She's going to lurk today. No problem with that. I got Michael giving us good wishes. Good evening from Wilmington, North Carolina. I've never been to Wilmington. Is it nice there? Lots of ICE presence in smaller communities. DC's not a small community, but I just got information about 3 guys who purportedly have green card renewals pending, and they got taken into custody by ICE based off speeding charges right by the airport in DC. Tyrone says, bless ups to each and everyone, for sure. Tony's here. Black Cat Queen, hi, Jim. I'm working, but listening to your show between calls, I always do that after 3 p.m. I would love to call in, but I can't while I'm working. Well, I'll do a show on Saturday, Black Cat, and we can talk then. Nor has a softball camp in Pittsburgh, PA. I don't know why in the hell I'm going to Pittsburgh, PA. It's going to be cold as ice. And we'll be up in Pittsburgh for the weekend. And then I'm going to San Diego. How you like me now? My favorite place. All right. Shauna says she's enjoying the snow in Denver. We got Northwest Pennsylvania, Wausau, Wisconsin. What's up, Wisconsin? We got Chicago, Seattle. Let's see what Challenge Your Wallet says. Husband and I just put in for the I-130. Was over on a K-1 visa 10 days. Overstay didn't get the green card application, and in time will need a 212 waiver. I don't think so. I think what you really need is a lawyer, because I think you're doing things you don't need to do. I don't know that you needed to file an I-130. Hopefully you got married in the 90 days. We got Ghana in the house. Well, of course, we've always got some good friends from Ghana here. We got Virginia. We got a friend on Facebook. Justin says, watching in the bus, going home in Maryland. Well, all right. Say hi to everyone on the bus for me. And Wokeless Sampson is in LA, so I'll be close by. I'll be in Rancho Bernardo. Happy Wednesday from Chicago. Passion for travel. Oh, passion for travel. I like that. Love from Missouri. Thank you. Thank you. Mohammed says, I have the visa IR1. I'm Somali. Can I travel to the USA? I don't know. I was thinking today we shouldn't call it the Immigration Answer Show. It should be called the Immigration I Don't Know Yet Show. Should we change the name, lady? The Immigration I Don't Know Yet Show? I wish I knew, but I don't know yet, Mohammed. It's not supposed to apply to immediate relatives, I don't think. But they all acting crazy. It's not supposed to apply for people applying for citizenship either. Oh, we got born in Florida, now in Norfolk, United Kingdom. Well, hello, Marla. If you had contact with the police but was not arrested, how do you answer the criminal questions on the form? Well, I would call that probably a citation or a stop. So that's a close call. No reason to spam, no reason to post things more than once. This ain't TikTok. That's what they do over on TikTok. But even over there, they don't need to do it. Let's see. Mo says, I had my N400 interview waiting for my oath. I'm from the 19 countries in the travel ban. Do you think I'll get my oath if I file a mandamus lawsuit? Yeah, and I think you should have already. But yes, if it's been a long time, I would say yes. And there's a special rule for you. So if 120 days have gone by since your interview, you definitely should file a mandamus lawsuit. Get rid of these punks. I got Raphael in Tampa, our good friend. Muhammad says hello. Marvelous says hi. Yeah, Wilmington is a nice beach town in North Carolina. Is that where we're talking? Wilmington, North Carolina? I think it was. Oh, check this out. My I-130, I like that. That's called dictating your text, which is no problem. I do it all the time. My I-130, sometimes when I do TikTok, the transcript, it always gets me for wanna and gonna and I-130. I get that same thing. My I-130 went in on November 8th of this year. November 9th, they received it. I already have my 797 notice of action. Dude, I don't think you need a 212 waiver. I think you need a lawyer is what I'm saying. I think you're just doing craziness. Muhammad, I want to talk with Jim. Well, come on in. We're here. Yeah, see, here we go. This is Raphael. My friend from Venezuela had an N400 interview tomorrow and it was descheduled. So to my good friend Raphael and everybody else watching, I believe that our firm may file a class action lawsuit in Washington, D.C. or in Boston, Mass. Against USCIS for this presidential proclamation, the new policy memo, and these refusals by people by people at USCIS to keep adjudicating people's application. But I need people who are willing to sue the government to do that. I can't do it. Can't be Jim hacking versus Donald Trump as much as I'd like it to be. I need actual clients. So, Raphael, your friend from Venezuela would be a perfect client for me. What we're thinking is we're going to charge $1,000 to be in the class action, something like that, maybe $1,500, something like that. And then if we win, we get our attorney's fees back from the government. Now that's a big if, and there's a lot that would have to happen. So I wouldn't think anyone should go into this thinking that it's guaranteed that they're going to get their attorney's fees back, but we're trying to keep it low, like $1,000. And I'm wondering from everybody watching, what do you think? Does that seem like a reasonable legal fee? So it wouldn't be about your individual case, although many times when we file big group lawsuits, they try to make it go away by starting to work on the people who are in the lawsuit. So I think there is potentially a separate value to being in the lawsuit. So I think we're going to file a class action and we're going to list a bunch of people in it. And sometimes they get to work on those people's cases so that they make the cases go away. But we want to change the rule. We want to stop them from what they're doing. And we need a judge's help to do it. And we need immigrants' help to do it. So I'm throwing this out there to you, the audience, to help me decide, is this a good idea? Is this something if you were in this situation? So think of all the people that USCIS has now paused. They have paused all asylum seekers. 6 months ago, they said, although we haven't really seen it, they said they were going to stop adjudicating green cards for people who applied for a green card based on having been granted asylum. And they're going to stop any immigration benefits for people from the 19 countries on Trump's list, including Venezuela, Iran, Afghanistan, and 16 others. Now, it's not in its own language. It's not supposed to apply for citizenship people. So it's wrong on its face. But Raphael and everybody else who's watching, please let me know in the comments if you think this is a viable plan. Like, I'm thinking of getting 100 or 200 people to join this lawsuit, try to keep their costs low, put them all in one lawsuit and file it in Washington, D.C. or in Boston to challenge the legality of these pauses. I don't know what else I can do. I don't really want to wait around for other people to do it. I don't know. I think we would need some help, and maybe we'll partner up with some organizations. And another thing I'm thinking is that there have to be agencies and organizations that work with immigrants from these 19 countries, and that they would be able to help us find plaintiffs. But we sort of need people all over the country with all those different kinds of benefits pending. Raphael's friend would be best because that's naturalization isn't even supposed to be affected by this. But it just goes to show you that there's no real guidance. This really reminds me of two things that have happened since Donald Trump first took office. Number one, the first time when he took office in the first administration, you might recall the Muslim ban number one, where Stephen Miller and Stephen Bannon basically thought it up at a bar and announced it with no guidance to CBP or USCIS or anybody else on a Friday. And there was all hell that broke loose where they weren't even letting green card holders back in. So this reminds me of how unorganized and poorly thought out and implemented and noticed that it was for them. Also, it reminds me of the student visa revocations from earlier this year, where they just decided to revoke 5,000 students' visas. And you can't change the regulations. You can't change the law. The law says how an asylum application is supposed to be adjudicated. The Immigration Nationality Act took out national discrimination in the 60s. The regulations say how you're supposed to process a green card application. Trump and Joe Etlow and everybody else, Kristi Noem, you can't just say, well, we're going to issue a new policy memorandum and change how Congress wrote the law. The law hasn't changed. These fucknuts just think they can issue a policy memorandum and change the rules. That's illegal. It's illegal. So I'd like to challenge it, but I need your guys' help. So I need to know in the comments what you guys think about what I'm saying. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Let's see. You have a great heart. Thank you for helping. Thank you. Good luck to all joining the lawsuit. We're rooting for you. Thanks to Jim's law firm. How do we sign up? Will Jim make a late night commercial? You may have been injured by USCIS refusing to adjudicate your immigration application. You might be entitled to compensation. No, we're not suing for money. As much as I'd love to, you can't sue these guys for money. Although I do think they're violating people's civil rights. But this is not a thing for money. But yeah, I'll make late night commercials. I'll make videos all the time. I'm not getting a lot of feedback. I'd like to hear from some of the OGs or anybody else who has an opinion. See, here's a great comment. DP says, sounds reasonable. My wife would be a candidate, I-751 from Myanmar, Burma. So Burma's on the list. Total BS. She's already got her green card. I mean, this doesn't even get to the issue of them saying they're going to go back and re-adjudicate stuff. They don't have the authority to do that. These guys are fucking nuts. They're off the chain nuts, and they're drunk on their own supply, or they're high on their own supply, however you're supposed to say that. I got, $1,000 is fair. Lawsuit's a great idea. Okay. Do you think it'd be hard for people to pay $1,000? Do you think they'd understand the value that what we're doing is trying to challenge the overall approach to stop this for everybody, right? And we'd be trying to do it as a class action to help other people who aren't in the lawsuit. But in my experience, the people who are included in the lawsuit seem to get preferential treatment after the fact from USCIS, and that sometimes they try to make, like, let's say we put in 30 people who have asylum and they're waiting for their green cards. Sometimes when we file the lawsuit, they want to make that part of the case go away, so they just give all those people their green cards or deny them or schedule them for an interview. Okay, this is what I wanted. $1,000 is a lot of money for the average person, but it can really help them in the long run. Thank you, Dammy. I appreciate that. So, I thought about 2,000. I thought about 1,500. I thought about 500, but I don't think 500 is enough to have skin in the game, because the thing is, we're going to have to do stuff for each individual. So we're going to have to actually spend time on it, because we're going to have to get statements from them, like Raphael, like just using Raphael's friend. So Raphael's friend applied for naturalization, filed all the rules, all that stuff. And because of this policy memorandum, Raphael's friend is not able to get his citizenship. He got pulled out of line. That an affidavit from that friend and the work that we would do to develop their statement, that's going to take some work. So that's why I thought 1,000. All right. Rook Deep says 1,000 is crazy. I don't know if that's good or bad. Happy Bowling says crazy good or crazy bad. Nurse Laura's here. Okay, good. Here's what I want. Laura said, I wanted Laura's opinion. I'm going to be somewhat contrarian here and say that although 1,000 is very reasonable for a ton of people, tons of people are struggling right now. I get that. And I get that. And I have to pay for people to work and to be here. So, and this would be, my sole focus for the next 2 or 3 months. So it'd be a lot of work. So I get it. It might not be for everybody, but I don't think I can do it for less than that. So Gray Fox says, I'm Venezuelan DACA. I'm worried this will affect my renewal. Good question. So Vanessa says, I'll do it. Husband from Venezuela, and now his green card application is paused. Okay. Well, we can just gauge it and see what people says. Laura might be right. She gets both sides of the equation. Narrator's voice. I should never even say this. Amani will kill me. If somebody had a really, really compelling reason to be in the lawsuit and they couldn't afford it and they could prove they couldn't afford it, I'd probably give it to them for cheaper or, just don't tell anybody I said that. Yeah, $1,000. I think it's actually, I think if I don't charge people anything, I just think they're just going to not take it that seriously and not work with us. And this is helpful. 1,000 is super reasonable just to have peace of mind. Being close to your loved ones has no price. Yeah, but I don't take advantage of that. So it's a hard fine line. I know this is how other law firms have challenged big Trump things, and I just got to make sure that I keep the lights on. So, and the other thing, I don't know if I mentioned this. Maybe I did. Davey says we won't tell Amani. Haha. Yeah. When you sue the government, if you win, there's this thing called the Equal Access to Justice Act. And usually when I do my mandamus, I never mess around with that. But if we won and got them to change the policy and it was because of a judge's order, we would get all of our attorney's fees. So we would get all the time we've spent. Like I'll keep track of all this time that we're doing and everyone here working on it. We'll keep track of their time. We'll get all that as attorney fees. And then we would give people some or all of their $1,000 back. So it's sort of like an investment that you might get your money back on and you might change the law, right? It might help everybody. So I haven't done anything this big or tried this since I was a brand new immigration lawyer in 2007. So generally class actions are hard. One of the things you have to show is commonality, and the government likes to argue, well, each person's case is different. This asylum case, this guy's from Uzbekistan and this guy's from Ukraine. So their cases are very dissimilar, but we're not challenging the individual cases. We're challenging the policy, right? We're challenging the policy. So listen, if anybody has more thoughts on this, on whether 1,000 is reasonable or unreasonable, and you're watching this video later, either leave us a comment or better email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com and we'll see what we can do. All right. With all that being said, I say hello to everybody else. Sorry I didn't get to everyone in the comments. Thank you all for being here. And we're going to go to Florida first. Hello, Florida.
Hello. Can you hear me good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. I appreciate it. Really quick question. I have a marriage-based green card interview scheduled for next week. The question I have, and I'll go into details with it, is how to answer and explain the unauthorized work question. So I initially filed my I-130 and 485. I'm a U.S. citizen. My husband is from Colombia. I originally filed the I-130 485 back in February of 2024. I applied for the work permit. Everything was good. And then probably about 9 months later, the claim or the case got denied because they sent me a request for evidence on the I-131A, I think. And I did not understand. I read it wrong. I did not submit all the papers that was included in that form because I did not think it applied to me because I didn't use an attorney. I didn't have an interpreter. So instead of like asking them to reopen it or reconsider, I just refiled again. And
Good.
when I refiled, I did not do the work permit because now the fee was separate. And I thought that it would be a faster process because we already did the biometrics. Well, it wasn't a fast process. So about 6 months in, so I reapplied again in November 2024. And about 6 months in, so back in May of 2025, the work permit, it wasn't, the case wasn't being approved fast enough. So we reapplied for the work permit and got approved like within 1 month. So there was a 6 month gap where even though he had the original work authorization card that didn't expire, I think it's no longer valid because it was tied to the first 40 or the first 485 case. So how do I explain? And my husband was working already, so he didn't have to resubmit a work permit to work. So how do I explain that and when I go to my interview?
Okay, so this isn't what you asked me, but just so everyone listens, I think you wasted a lot of time and money because you tried to do it yourself out of the box.
Correct.
Did you end up, so here's something I don't know because we don't ever do this, but I think that since you filed the new EAD off the new 485 and you didn't file it at the time of filing, didn't you have to pay $520 instead of $260 for his second work card?
I think I paid $260 for the second work card.
I thought they doubled it if you didn't file it at the time of filing, but maybe not. Okay. So on the 485 that you have on file, there would be a question. These are the questions you're asking about. The question, how did you mark the answers on, have you ever violated the terms of your visa? Have you ever worked without authorization? How did you answer those?
I think I put no, because I honestly thought, because the work permit card wasn't expired, I still thought it was valid. And then I started doing some more digging and I was like, oh crap, we probably need to reapply for another work permit. So I'm pretty sure I put no on that form. So I need to explain that.
Well, you need to watch my video on what's called an errata sheet, ERRATA. You need to go through and correct all of those, right?
Okay.
So you need to type out the question and the correct answer on each one.
Okay.
Because as you know, it doesn't matter what you honestly think; it matters what the law is, right? So that
right.
Okay. So I would step back a little bit and ask this question. At the time that your husband filed the first case, when you guys first got married, what was his immigration status before you filed?
He came in on a visitor visa.
And was he in status or had he overstayed?
He was in status.
But then when you filed the second one, was he still in status or was he out?
Out of status.
Okay. So that's another one you're going to have to change, right?
Okay.
So I would say, and then the big thing is, of course, have you been watching the show like the last week or so where we're talking about this deal out in San Diego where they're starting to take people who are out of status at the time of filing sometimes into custody?
Yes. Yeah.
So I think you need to be careful and watch what happens and see what they're doing. And I think there's a chance, hopefully it doesn't spread to Florida. And so far, we still haven't heard it spreading anywhere outside of California. You've got that whole issue too.
Okay.
So, but what I'm saying is, don't spend so much time worrying about those things we just talked about, where you're not also spending an equal or a greater amount of time on getting your case ready for the interview, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, good luck. Let us know how it goes.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. That was Florida. I'm going to go to LPR spouse and then Eddie. Hello, LPR spouse.
Hey, Jim, can you hear me?
Yo.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yo, go ahead.
Hi. Thanks for picking me. So I had a question regarding the filing the 485, right? So I'll give you a brief background. So I have a green card and my wife came into the country on September 12th this year, 2025. And shortly after we filed the I-130, during that time, she did have work from Canada. She came from Canada, but she was on vacation when we filed I-130. And then she decided that she's gonna quit work and we're gonna do the 485 filing after 90 days. So 90 days is coming up right now, and we are trying to file the 485 right now. But in there, it was asking one question about have you ever worked in the United States without authorization, right? So my question is, what do we put there? Because technically, she was on vacation when she came here, and she quit work after that. But in the job history, it asks like when you quit, and if it's after the time she came into the country, does that violate the working in US without authorization?
Why do you think it's okay for you to file the I-130 less than 90 days after arrival, but not the 485?
Because we actually filed the I-130 in the consular processing, and then we decided after that she didn't, because it was going to take 4 years, right? So that we would stay back and do the 485 after 90 days.
Because her priority date became current because it became like a 1 month delay.
Yeah.
But wait, so when you filed the I-130, was she inside the United States or outside?
Inside.
See, I think that's a problem. How long after she arrived did you file the I-130?
After 10 days.
Yeah, see, I don't think they're going to believe you. I think they're going to think that she had immigrant intent on the day she filed the I-130, and that event occurred within 10 days of arrival, not more than 60 days after she arrived. So I think you have that problem too.
Okay.
So I also think that given what's happening right now, you should think about consular processing.
Okay.
I'm not saying for sure, but I think that if you guys, I mean, let's fast forward. Do you have a green card interview set? You don't, right?
No.
Yeah. So let's say you get your green card interview in February. And by that point, I mean, getting a green card in the United States as the spouse of a green card holder is generally tricky. But now it's a whole different thing with all the other threats and bullets flying all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think that you should simplistically conclude that because you filed the 485 after 90 days that she's okay. I think she might not be.
Okay.
So if I were her and I didn't have 6 months of unlawful presence, which she probably doesn't,
Yeah.
I would think seriously about going back home and consular processing, just because, yeah, she was in status on the day she filed the 485, but it looks like where things are headed, they're going to start pushing back on that. I don't know for sure, but I think they might start pushing back on that, and then she's in trouble.
Okay. Even if the 485 is pending.
No, that's all authorized stay for sure.
Okay.
But I don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now.
Yeah.
Maybe we just sit and write it out and see what happens. But I think that filing the I-130 10 days after she arrived was a really dumb idea.
Okay.
Okay.
But if I were to file 485, what do I put in the answer for have you ever worked?
And wait, so just to be clear, and she worked before she filed the 485.
Yeah, she had a job in Canada, right? She just came on vacation here.
Yeah, but while she was in the United States, she did work
she had vacation, and then after that, she just had to quit work because her work was hybrid, so it doesn't allow remote work.
My question is, did she do work while in the United States on her visit visa or B1 or, the Canadian entry? Did she do work in the United States before the 485 was filed?
What kind of work? Like talking to managers work?
Any work?
Not really work. She just talk to her manager that she's quitting. That's all.
So in answer to the question, have you ever worked in the United States without authorization? She could honestly say no.
Yes, but the problem is
you kept bringing up work, which is why I'm asking.
Yeah, the problem is the end date would be after.
Oh, that's okay. That doesn't matter.
Okay, so if the end date is after coming into US, wouldn't they suspect that they worked even though it was a vacation time?
No, but to me, that's just another thing highlighting the fact that she applied for a green card 10 days after, or applied for a marriage-based I-130 10 days after arrival. Like that was her plan all along. Like, I don't know if you're telling me the truth that it was only later you decided to file the 485, and maybe the jump in priority dates might cover your butt, but I don't think they're going to believe you. I think they're going to think this was your plan all along.
Like the immigration intent was there when I came in or when she came in.
because she filed an I-130 10 days after landing.
Yeah, but our intent was not to stay back because we know it. But
What changed? What changed between the day she entered and 10 days later? What changed?
so we just filed the I-130 and then we saw the priority date was becoming current. So that's why we did consular processing. It was not, our intention was not to do that route.
Okay, so let's prove that up. On the day that you filed the I-130, how long was the filing date for 45s? How far out was it, the priority date?
I'm not sure, but when we filed, it became current right away.
Well, I think you're right that was right around the time that we saw that jump. Certainly October with the new fiscal year, but you need to know that shit backwards and forwards, because to me that's your only saving grace. But I mean, I feel like I'm pretty aggressive on things, but I think having her stay on this one makes me a little bit nervous.
Okay. So if you do file 485, you can put end date after the time coming into US. That's okay, right?
About work?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you're pushing me on things that aren't really the right questions. What I'm saying is the fact that she quit and filed for an I-130 10 days after arrival, that's fucked up. And they're going to crucify her for that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. So what's your recommendation going forward?
I think that if it were my wife, I would seriously consider having her go back home and wait till I get my citizenship for her to come back. I'm just saying, because ICE is off the chain right now.
Okay. And what's the consequences if you do it? Like you can get denied, right? If you do go there.
Well, you get delayed, but do you get denied? I don't think so. I mean, would they deny her for filing the 45? I think she's going to have more of a problem here in the United States. And maybe you wait to see what happens with this San Diego stuff, maybe. But I don't know.
Okay. So if I file 485, I can put everything that's true, like even though work is afterwards.
Brother, you always have to put whatever is true.
No, I meant like, how do you explain that the end date was after you came into US and you said no for working here?
You got to tell the truth, and that is highlighting my point. She's fucked by saying that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're not listening to me. You're asking me, do I have to put it? Yes, you have to put it because that's the truth. Does it help or hurt her case? No, it really, really hurts because it lines up exactly with their theory. She came to America, she quit her job, she filed an I-130, and her plan when she entered the United States was to stay. I got to go, okay?
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Sometimes people just want to hear what they want to hear and they don't listen. They're asking questions about the things that aren't important because they think they're clever. They think USCIS hasn't figured this shit out before. I would venture to say that there aren't too many approaches. Albert says waiver incoming. Thank you, Albert. There aren't too many things that people haven't tried before. I think I feel fairly comfortable saying that. And I've seen a lot on this show and in the office. I've seen a lot. AOS 105. Hello. That sounds like my freshman homeroom or something. Hello. I was homeroom 105. What's up?
Hi. This is my second time here. I joined in, I think, around 10 days ago.
Okie doke.
To give a recap, I got married to a US citizen 2 weeks before my date of exit. And then I decided to stay back. My lawyer sent out my application 1 day after my date of exit. So I was listening to your previous show, and I was happy to find out that your two clients, their cases went through.
They did.
That was good to know. My question is for today is, can I travel like from within the United States with a receipt, like say between New Jersey and Florida, California? Because I'll have to show my passport as my proof of identity in the airport. In terms of domestic flights, is that okay after I get the receipt number from USCIS, receipt notice?
I made a video about this and I said, what's the one place in America where you can go to make sure that everybody looks at your status and looks at how you are in the United States? And that is the airport. So I think that I would do that as little as possible.
Mm-hmm. So even with the receipt, I don't have, I'm not in status after I get the receipt. Is there any time before I get my adjustment of status done where I would be able to travel?
You can travel. I just don't think you should travel.
Mm.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
And I sure as hell wouldn't go to Florida. Nut house.
Right. So even like, I'm guessing even bus, train, road, everything is fair game.
ICE likes to get on buses in the. I mean, you don't have your receipt notice yet, but assuming you have your receipt notice, Jim, is it safe for me to travel inside the United States with a visa overstay and an I-130 45 receipt notice? I would say do it as little as possible and only if it's safe. Only if it's an emergency.
Okay.
All right.
The other thing, yeah.
Go ahead.
The other thing is, do I have to be prepared in any way? Is there anything I can do? Let's say I do have to fly, or I'm traveling on the road and then something happens. Like, is there anything I can do beforehand? Uh, let's say they pick up and they find out that I applied for my adjustment of status after my date of exit. Is there anything I can do beforehand to prevent or to make things easier for me?
I mean, I think the chances of this are low. I don't think it's a serious chance that you're going to get in trouble, even if you flew. But
Okay.
I can't guarantee that it's safe. So, is there anything you can do ahead of time? Maybe have a lawyer's cell phone number so that they can try to get you out on bond or habeas action if they do take you into custody. I mean, one of the things that, so I don't want to make things sound worse, and I don't want to make people scared, and I don't want to add more fuel to this fire of fear. But with this thing in San Diego where they're taking people in custody at their interviews, I have thought for a while, well, that might be where they start, but they could just start saying, well, if we get an I-130 and a 45 where the spouse puts on their 45 that they were out of status and they were out of status at the time of filing, why couldn't they just go get them then? Why do they have to wait for the interview? Now, it might be because they just want you to do the work of coming to them instead of them coming out to find you. But in theory,
Right.
when that memo first came out in August, that was my concern, was that they're going to say, we're going to come get you and put you in removal. And then we're going to tell USCIS to go real slow on your I-130. So you're sitting in detention or getting deported. So that's sort of where my mind goes.
Right.
Okay. Thanks for the call.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. All right. I'm going to go to Eddie and then Joseph. Eddie, hello.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am well. I spoke to you back in October. You advised me to go to the US from Canada. I don't know if you remember me. So I took your advice and I was able to, I had IR1 visa and I was successfully able to come into the US. And I received my green card as well. So thank you very much. The purpose of my call today is I'm interested in applying for I-131, and I've been watching your videos, and you're telling that if you are on a green card, don't leave the U.S. So I want to know your opinion. So the purpose of using the I-131 is so that I can, I'm not sure whether I'll be able to stay here for 6 months or not. And just in case I need to be back in Canada, I can use that to come back. Is it a good idea or not?
Why couldn't you stay here for more than 6 months?
I mean, I have my mother is there. I have to take care of her. And I also have property over there.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
That's my advice.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks for the call.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. We've beaten that horse to death. I'm not talking about it anymore. Ladies nodding back and forth. Thank you, lady. Joseph, hello.
Hey, Jim. Thanks a lot for taking my call.
Sure, buddy. What's up?
So my wife from Burma, she passed her I-130 interview on November 25th. She received her passport back in the mail with the green card just on Sunday. Reading the memorandum, we felt like we just made it, but now we're wondering what the worst case scenario could be with Department of Homeland Security and Customs and Border Patrol at O'Hare. So she's flying into O'Hare Friday, December 12th. I read lists of grounds of admissibility that DHS and CBP could use on her. Can't seem to find anything that applies to our case besides maybe a loose interpretation of national security. So we're wondering what kind of concerns we should have, how to best prepare, what rights we should know about, if we should have any kind of plan B if she's not allowed in the U.S. at Chicago, or any precedent you know of that could help us prepare for that.
So I think the biggest thing is overcoming the idea that Burmese spouses of U.S. citizens are not allowed into the United States. So to me, the best thing she's got going is she just got the visa, and that's sort of the proof of it. But you're going to have to, I don't know if you saw in the comments up above that there are people from the 19 countries who are in line for citizenship, and this new directive doesn't even apply to people applying for citizenship, but USCIS is still approving it. So your biggest problem is that she's going to deal with knuckleheads who either don't know the law, don't know how the law is supposed to be applied, and dumbly think, oh, Burma can't come in. That's it, right? Not taking into account that spouses are excluded. And I don't think you need to worry about national security. I'd be focused more on how do I make sure my wife has a clear walkthrough for any CBP officer to read and to understand that she's admissible to the United States even after this directive. Now, generally, I'm a big fan in somebody coming as soon as possible after getting a visa, but this might be one situation. I think there's arguments both sides. One is, let's try to get her here and see what happens. Number two, let's try to get her here as fast as we can in case things get worse. And then number three is maybe we wait a week or two to see if things settle down and there's greater clarification for CBP, because that's part of the deal. Part of the chaos is that they like it where everything's just up in the air and people from Burma are scared and their husbands are having to comb through the list of inadmissibility to see if there's some reason why she might not be allowed in. Of course, it'd only be the proclamation and the interpretation of the proclamation by CBP and people, but spouses of U.S. citizens who are from Burma are supposed to be able to come to the United States. Otherwise, she wouldn't have got her visa, and they're wrong if they think she's not admissible. So I would almost have like a legal memorandum or a walkthrough of exactly why the proclamation doesn't apply to her and she should be allowed into the United States. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and is that something I should try to draft up, or is that something an immigration lawyer would draft up? Or
yeah, I think that would be something worth spending a little bit of money on. Yeah, I would.
Okay. Well, I'll get back to you on that, and I'll add my bride to your list of 1,000 because you're the only attorney I've ever consulted with. So I'll be in touch either way.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Bye, buddy. Can you imagine hold on a second. Joseph, how long have you been waiting for your wife to come?
We applied March 2024, married 2023. It's been a long time.
Jesus, dude. It's terrible.
Yeah, and I've compared this. I feel like I had a plane ticket and I didn't get on the plane and the plane crashed. Like, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude and also just devastated for everyone behind me. That's just behind me. It's heartbreaking.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thanks, Jim.
He was posted. This is a bunch of BS. I'm so pissed. I'll always come back to that Republican convention in Milwaukee where they said mass deportations now, and all these fat white Hoosiers were waving the flag and waving their sign saying, woohoo, let's screw the immigrants. This is what they voted for. This is I like this. Hula Hoop says, I want to sign up for the lawsuit, but I'm in removal, but I will still sign up to fight these ghouls. I love it. Dammy says that was a great analogy that Joseph gave. I agree, Dammy. All right, so we'll let Eddie go. Oh, Eddie already came and went. We'll kick out Eddie and Joseph just to free up a little room. I'm going to go to almost approved, L, and then Gabriel. Almost approved. Hello.
Hey Jim, how are you, sir?
Great. How are you doing?
Good, good. So I'll be quick. I'll give you a history of my case, So I'm from Canada. So my wife is a US citizen. I'm a Canadian citizen, right? So we got married early 2023. We filed I-130 mid 2023. I-130 got approved, mid 2024, and then we got doc qualified in April 2025, right? So I just did my interview in Montreal, just before Thanksgiving. So they're taking about 7 months for anyone who's asking about Canadians, right? So 7 months. Okay, so I did my interview in just before Thanksgiving, right? So it went really well. So, no big question because we went by the book. And so they kept my passport, right? So I'm assuming that they're gonna stamp my visa and then send the packet through courier. Okay, so my questions are about entry after, I got my passport. So what I was planning on doing was because I think these things are valid for 6 months, right? I don't know. So you have to enter within 6 months. So I was planning on taking December, January, bit easy to sell off my assets in Canada, right? So put my house on rent before I make the move, right, to the US in February. But last week my wife got diagnosed with a serious medical condition. So I mean, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's not life-threatening. We caught it on time. So she's going to need surgery. So I'm 100% sure she's going to recover. So I plan to be with her in the US for full 6 weeks to support her, before she gets back to work. So I'll do everything for her. The question is, and then I have to come back to Canada, to sell my assets, before I go back here. My question is, will they allow me to enter as a B1 B2 visitor, even if I have my packet, or they won't let me enter as a visitor if I want to apply?
Why would you do that?
Because I don't know if I come back, if I'll need more time to sell my assets in Canada, because I'm pushing back the plan a few months, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about this. So number one, have you paid your Ellis fee?
No, I haven't.
But you have your visa, right?
No, they haven't. So no, yeah, I paid the fees at the embassy. They haven't sent me my passport yet. So it's at the embassy. They're gonna send it. They're gonna courier it. So I'm expecting it within either end of this week or early next week.
And so then you'll pay your Ellis fee once you have your visa, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then you're going to come to the United States about when?
So I'm thinking end of December. That's when her surgery is, and then I go back mid-February because I have to quit my work. Right, I have to wrap up work, my home, and everything. So I need to sell my assets.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. I think you should pay your Ellis fee and stay in the United States at least until you get your green card. And if that means it's harder for you to quit your job, if it means it's harder for you to rent your property, if it means you lose a month of rent, I don't care. I want you to get that green card in hand. I don't want you traveling on your visa stamp after you get it, and I don't want you to leave until you get your green card.
Okay. Got it. And I think they will send it at her US address, right? And then I come back to Canada.
Yeah, and you'll put that on the Ellis thing. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I would think about is, well, if I'm not going to leave to America before December, or I'm not going to leave for America until Christmas time, December 20th or so, what can I get done before I leave? And more importantly, is there anybody I could give power of attorney to do some of this stuff in case it takes me a little longer to get back?
Okay, got it. And do you know usually how long they take to send out the cards after I pay my fee and I enter the US?
I will let everybody in the comments know. Carolina might know. People in the comments might post. If you don't get a good answer, post it in the Immigrant Home Facebook group that we have, Immigrant Home. And people will tell you. I think in my mind, it's always 6 weeks, but I don't know if that's right. Carolina will tell me, or other people will tell me in the comments how long it takes.
So I should not come back to do everything until I have my card in hand, and then no, that makes sense. Okay, sir. The second question I have is, I'm an engineer by profession, so I work for one of the big 3 automakers in Canada, right? So they are willing to, relocate my employment to the States, because I'll be authorized to work there, right? So what's happening is my wife is in Texas, right? So I've been trying to look for a job, and the market's a shit show. So I'm wondering if I move to the Michigan, work for a month or two before moving there. Is that a problem? Or because I want to keep the money flowing, if that makes sense.
So are you saying you can only keep your Canadian job if you live in Michigan?
No, because like if I live in Canada, I can keep my Canadian job, but like once I get my paperwork, they're willing me to transfer to U.S. payroll, right? To make me an American employee, Ford Motor Company, right? So
long term, can you live in Texas and continue to work for the Canadian company?
no.
Why?
Because like of tax obligations and my role is high. I mean, I have to go to the different plants, so that's why
That's why you
that's
say
what-
Michigan.
yeah. So my question is, if my wife is in Texas and I'm in Michigan for like let's say 2 or 3 months, until I find a job in Texas, right? I'm applying. Is that a problem or no?
I would say as long as, I mean, I have a video on what you need to do when you're living apart from your spouse, but basically you're going to need to document that it's a good reason. It sounds like you have an excellent reason, right?
Mhm.
You're going to have to document how often you see each other, all the efforts you make to go down to Texas or her to come up to see you, right?
Okay.
And then third, what's the long-term plan? So if when you file the 751,
Mhm.
the first 2 months of your marriage you were living apart, but the last 22 you lived together.
Yeah.
That's a lot different than the first year we lived apart and now we just started moving in together. That's different.
That's different. Okay. And like because my case was older than 2 years when I applied. So do you think they're gonna give me a 2-year green card or like 10-year?
Yeah, they should. Yeah.
Like a 10-year one, right? Non-conditional, I think.
Yeah. So then you'll just have to do what I said for citizenship instead. Yep.
Got it. Yeah, because we're just planning to be away for like 2 or 3 months, and then like because I don't want to put financial strain on her, right? So I want to get a job in my field. Okay. Yeah, just like for anyone from Canada, it's taking about 7 months from doc qualified to the interview. So like it's not like over a year. So I just want to give you an update.
So that's faster than it's been.
Yeah, because I got doc qualified in April and I have an interview in November. So and it's like smooth. It's nothing. I mean, if you go by the book, I didn't have a problem with it. It was perfectly fine.
How was the interview?
Oh, it went pretty well. I mean, my wife couldn't make it because of her medical condition, so I got a doctor's note from her, so I can explain if they asked it. So
Yeah.
I went in there. Yeah, I mean, they asked about the relationship, when we met. He went through my medical history. Asked me about my profession. How many times I went to see her because I went as B1B2 visitor during our time, but I disclosed everything. So yeah, then he asked me about the long-term plan. Like. Not a lot of questions about her, but like they were more about like my family, my background, and then like our long-term plan. So this took about like 10-15 minutes. I did all the fingerprints and we're all set to go. The officer was pretty nice.
Okay, and just to be clear,
Mhm.
you wouldn't come from Canada just go straight to Michigan. You would go to Texas and see your wife for a while, and then you would go to Michigan, right?
Yes, that's what I plan to do, right? Because like I mean, her surgery is in December, so I wanna first come see her, spend 6 weeks with her, and she goes back to work. Then I come back to Canada, and then I go to Michigan.
Okay, great. Thanks for the call.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Have a good one.
You too. This is the Immigration Answer Show. My name is James Oliver Hacking III, or James Oliver Hacking the Turd, as my old boss Rob James used to say. Rest in peace, Rob James. He was the best. We worked at KB Toys. I had so much fun. It was the best job ever. When the store closed, we would have water gun fights and tricky string fights. So do you remember tricky string? It was like a canister and it would shoot like pink or green. Well, they took tricky string and made it into a gun. And so we would shoot each other. We'd play football in the aisles. We had a grand time. All right. So why was I talking about that? Anyway, ADHD kicking in. It's been a long day. Oh, James Oliver Hacking the Turd. That's right. All right. So I'm an immigration attorney practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, Washington, D.C., and Chicago, Illinois. Thank you, lady. And but we do practice all across the country because immigration is federal. Immigration is federal, and we can help people all over the country. And we are doing deportation again. So we are handling all kinds of cases. And I have undiagnosed ADHD, I believe, Esther. My kids think I do. My wife thinks I do. I don't know. I get distracted by squirrel, shiny object a lot. and then my mind goes sort of a mile a minute. So I don't know. Either way, my mind moves fast. Yeah, so we do citizenship, green cards, lawsuits. Those are our favorites. Squirrel. Deportation defense, H-1Bs, all the good stuff. Do I ever want to get diagnosed? Well, Dammy, if this isn't proof that I have it, I started to get diagnosed and then I lost interest and I stopped getting the rest of it diagnosed. I probably should finish that up. I took a test, but then we didn't. I was supposed to do some other stuff. And I got distracted. I'd rather just come on here and do a show where you guys are firing questions at me and my mind gets to go like this. All right. We'll be here for the next half hour and we'll be here tomorrow as well. Tomorrow is Thursday. So let's see, tomorrow's show be around the same time, 3:34, something like that. Busy day. And then Friday, I'll do a show earlier in the day. And then I travel, show on Saturday, no show on Sunday. And I don't know if I'll do a show Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So it might be Saturday and then the next Thursday before I do another show. Yes. No, I'm not leaving. We got another half hour. I'm just laying the groundwork for people because sometimes I forget. Elle, hello.
Hi, Jim. I want to thank you for everything you're doing to the immigrants.
My pleasure.
I came in with an immigrant visa, and it's a spousal visa, by the way. I've had many jobs that required deep background check, work at airports and government job. Recently, I got a government job, but it requires citizenship. But I applied in September, and I was looking on the website, what can I do to expedite it? Expedited, and I did get that, and they expedited my case.
Nice.
So I got an interview coming up next week, but I'm from one of the 19 countries, so I want to know if that is affected. And when I check on the website, it's still scheduled for next week.
Your interview is scheduled for next week?
Yes.
Well, here's what I'll say. I would go in there armed with documentation that the stupid proclamation does not apply to N400s. There's a list of the forms that it applies to. N400s aren't on there. Also, it's illegal. But if they cancel your interview or they cancel, if they refuse to do your ceremony, you should let me know because that's illegal and you can be in our lawsuit.
Okay.
Not that that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
What I would do is I would print out a copy of the policy memorandum. I'd print out a copy of Trump's stupid proclamation, and then I would highlight so that any moron can read. Ain't no N400 on here. See what happens.
And also, I saw a language at the bottom of the memo saying that it's just for guidance, for officer guidance, but they still have the discretion to do.
Oh yeah, but whenever you tell USCIS they have discretion that they can do something, they always do it, or they never do it, one or the other.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's keep going. Gabriel's here. Hello, Gabriel.
Hey, Jim. Thank you very much for the opportunity. How are you today?
What's up?
I'm good. I'm all right. Yes, just to make a couple questions here and there. I'm going to call my friend Jessica. She's got a specific case. She's been in the country for 30 years.
Wow.
No criminal record. She's from the Philippines originally. She overstayed her tourist visa.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to have kids. She doesn't have a legal permanent resident or U.S. citizen. Well, her sister is actually on the process of getting her naturalization, and she is very skeptical because she believes that there is nothing to do. What do you think what is out there for her? Do you think she might have an option, Jim?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, if she got put into removal, she might get cancellation of removal, but it sounds like she doesn't have a qualifying relative. She doesn't have any kids or parents or spouses here. I think Jessica's sort of aware of her situation and knows there's nothing for her. There's no path. There's no fine to pay, no form to fill out or line to get in.
All right. She said she also mentioned she had been mistreated by her employer, like mentally and physically. She's being exploited. That's what she said. Do you think that that could be
Probably not. Maybe.
okay? Well, thank you very much, Jim.
That was it.
That was it.
Thank you, Gabriel.
For sure. Great show, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. All right. Yeah, still. And of course, somebody who's been here for 30 years, you don't want them to voluntarily raise their hand these days. So I got Smile, which is funny. That's my son Ismail's nickname, Smile, Alejandro, and E. Smile, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. How are you doing today, Joe?
I'm well. How are you, Smile?
I'm pretty good. So, I have a quick question. It's not really a big problem. It's just like, basically, you were filing the DS-260 for me. I'm considered IR2 visa type, and in the social media thing, I think we forgot to put it all. So like I thought it said you had to share all your social media that you used for at least 5 years, but it said you had to put like within 5 years, you know? And so yeah, that's just my problem.
So this is an overseas visa case or an adjustment case?
Overseas.
And so what stage are you at?
I'm currently at I got my interview scheduled.
Well, that's unfortunate. So you have accounts that you didn't disclose.
Yeah.
Okay. It'd be nice if you could update the system beforehand. NVC is probably locked, so you probably can't. So I think what all you're left with is at the interview, you're going to have to tell the officer, "Hey, officer, I forgot to mention these other accounts," and give them the list, and then that's going to delay your case. You're going to get admin processing.
I've heard about that. How does that how long does it take?
As long as they want it to do. In other words, think of it this way: they like it when you do dumb stuff like that because then they can delay you. That's how you should think. All right.
All right. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks, Miles. See you, bud. Nurse Laura says she's a visiting nurse, and that reminded me of a story. I should really have my sister come tell it. So she was a visiting nurse. She worked for St. Louis County. It was sort of not really a visiting nurse, but she would go to people's houses, and she would teach new mothers in rough neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, about childcare and vitamins and all that good stuff. And she's got a hell of a story about a time she came to the door and the lady had no top on. And I'll have her tell you the story. It is a type of visiting nurse. Well, it's I don't know if Carrie will come on and tell the story, but it sure is funny. And I think she tells it sort of every year. So yeah, everyone thinks Nurse Laura. Nurse Laura is the best. She's an OG as if there ever was one. All right, Alejandro, hello.
Hey, Jim, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking your time to answer all of our questions. Honestly, you're doing great work here.
Thanks.
Of course. So yeah, the question is, my wife, she is part of the original 19 list that Trump basically designated as bad countries to come in. I married my wife already. We have filed for our I-130, our I-485. We had our interview scheduled for November 26th. We went to the immigration office. We waited for like roughly over an hour, and they essentially canceled our interview. They said that it was because of a pending background check. So my wife's status is of TPS right now. She was able to adjust, and then I adjusted her again with the I-485. My concern is that if we don't get an interview by February 3rd, what is her status, I guess, in this country? Can she be deported? Can she not because of the I-485?
the rules say that when you file for your I-485, that's a period of authorized stay. So in theory, if she came on Venezuelan parole,
Yeah, she did humanitarian parole under Biden.
and then she got TPS, and then she applied for a green card. So
That's correct.
no periods of unauthorized stay.
None.
So I would say this: they're crazy and they're doing crazy things. But under the rules, she would not be subject to removal. She should not be taken into custody at a green card interview. She should have her green card interview. I think that your wife probably needs to be in. You and your wife probably need to be in our lawsuit, because that's what we're going to challenge, is this arbitrary cancellation. I mean, they lie all the time about why things got canceled. It wasn't because of background check. What that is, what they're actually saying is, we don't think Biden did a sufficient amount of a job vetting people that they allowed in on humanitarian parole, so we're not going to give you a green card. That's what they're actually saying, and
Right.
that's what we're going to sue over. So, if I were you, I would make sure that lady has your name and contact information, so that if you want to be in the lawsuit, you could be. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I would 100% be game. Everything we did, we had a lawyer to represent us.
Yeah.
So I don't know how would that affect the class action lawsuit.
Stay everything with them. I'm just the lawsuit lawyer. I'm not taking over the underlying case.
Got it. All right, then yes, that's something I am definitely interested in as well. If it can help push this mess for all of us, because if it affects one of us, it affects all of us. So I'm in game.
Yep. Lady, if you can send me Alejandro's info, I'll send him a note. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You got it. I think he's actually in a lawsuit already. I think he's in the CHNV lawsuit, I would think. Even if he's not, I think he is. We'll have to see. E, hello.
Salam, Jim.
Salam, E.
I'm not saying this because I'm part of the 19. I'm just an American of Iranian descent and knowing the words that I do know. But the one thing, because I have a long memory, is I saw some people in the chat saying that they want to drive from Texas or Illinois to Illinois. Do not do so, because Oklahoma and Arkansas is absolutely loaded with cops trying to pull you over for anything, and they do work with ICE. So I would suggest not to.
On that 44 to 55 corridor. Yeah, you're right about that.
69 too.
Yeah.
But now to the actual question. I'm someone who plans ahead for the future. I am likely to start a relationship with someone who is likely to be my girlfriend. She is Vietnamese, living in Vietnam now, and has never been to the United States, and I am a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
To prepare for the possibility of us, this is not saying that this is going to happen,
Sure.
but just the possibility, because forewarned is always forearmed, and me having to sponsor her for either a K1 or a CR1 non-immigrant or immigrant visa. Well, the K1 pretty much is an immigrant visa at this point, but what are some things I should record down as the relationship progresses, such that should we go down that path, I would have everything ready to go and have the strongest possible case?
Well,
and what one would you pick, the K1 or versus the CR1, given it's 2025? And I saw your last video, but things have dramatically changed.
Yeah. So generally, my approach is K1s. The utility of K1s have sort of gone by the wayside. There's a problem with K1s, and that is this: if USCIS approves an I-129F, typically the embassy doesn't move fast enough to give the person the visa because of all the other processing stuff. And so 95% of the time, 98% of the time, the National Visa Center and the State Department, they just automatically extend the validity of the approved I-129F, but every now and then they decide not to. And they can't do that with an approved I-130. They can only do it with an approved I-129F. So if we're three friends, you, me, and her, sitting around talking, I'm telling you guys to think about the marriage route over the fiance route. That's number one.
That's still true in 2025. I've also kind of thought that given these recent insane changes in San Diego, I was worried for the K1 route that even though you've done everything right, USCIS may take their sweet time. That 90 days has passed, and now ICE may arrest the spouse. Is that a thing to worry about? If should I go the K1 route, or don't worry about that? And BD, by the way, I live near Washington D.C. on the Maryland side.
I would not do the fiance route for the reason I said, not the reason you said. I'm not worried about what you said.
Alrighty, good to know. And then just in general, what are some things I should record down as the relationship progresses? Should we do get married in the end, I have the strongest possible case, and I'm as prepared as I possibly can be.
So I would say, obviously the evidence should track the growth of the relationship. So when things first started out, I assume it's texting, then it might be FaceTiming or Facebook chatting or whatever. I would just keep screenshots of that kind of stuff. And then you can download our marriage evidence list or email us for the marriage evidence list, and you can start thinking about that stuff now. I think I understand the sentiment, but I would also caution you to just let it be natural and not be so rigid about what's going to happen. Everything should be fine. So just do your best and keep track of stuff. If you go visit, to me, the most important thing,
I'm going to visit in February.
Yeah. And I would say visit 2 or 3 times before getting married.
Thank you for the advice.
All right. Thanks, E. Oh, he's out of here. All right. Everyone's talking about where is it safe to drive? Jesus Christ. Is this like, how do we get to Frankfurt from Berlin? Clancy, hello. Clancy, you're on mute.
Hello, Jim. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was on your show earlier, like a couple of months back in September, and I went for my interview. I took all the right documents over there, and they sent me back home. They said they're gonna review the documents, and then they sent me a letter in the mail telling me to come in for my oath ceremony. But in the letter, there's a couple of questions to the back of it, and it says, "Have you gotten any citations or any type of trouble with the law, even including traffic?" And I did get a traffic citation. So I'm worried how that's gonna affect me.
When is your oath ceremony?
In 2 days.
Can you pay the ticket online?
Yes.
Well, here, let me tell you this way. If you show up in 2 days, which I guess is Friday, and tell them that you have received a ticket between the time of your interview and the time of your ceremony, they will not naturalize you on Friday unless you show that the ticket has been resolved. So whereas ordinary people might just hire a lawyer to get it amended to something else so that they don't get points on their license, if you do that, if you have a lawyer enter, they're not going to get it taken care of by Friday. So I think you should seriously think about just paying the fine and getting proof. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that was all. Thank you very much, Jim.
Bye, Clancy. Yeah, that's why I always tell people: be very careful when you drive after you get your license, because you get that ticket that's going to derail your citizenship ceremony. CHNV, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well.
I'm calling in regards to my spouse. We actually have an upcoming interview in a little bit over 2 weeks, and now with everything that they're saying, we're part of the 19 countries that are listed. He came through the humanitarian parole in 2023. I called the lawyer that's going with us, and I was like, "What?" Like, he's like, "If they don't cancel the interview, we're still gonna go, and then we just sitting and waiting." But then if they do cancel the interview, like, we have our lives that we're still trying to continue. I want to seek IVF, and it's like I feel like our whole life as a family is on hold, not knowing what to do, like just hopeless, and I just want some insight. I was getting in and out of the live because I kept having audio issues, so you may have to repeat some things that you probably had already said to other people.
We haven't talked about it today. No. I think they probably
Okay.
will reschedule. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I think they will probably reschedule your interview, and I think you're probably going to have to sue them. I don't know. I'm very, very sorry that you're feeling hopeless, and I totally understand it. It's terrible what we're doing to our citizens and the people that they love. I think it's one of the worst things immigration-wise that's happened since I've been an immigration lawyer. All I know is to fight back. That's all I know.
Okay. My other question is, I had a lawyer from the beginning, and he's going to the interview with us. But in regards to the, like, I saw that you're saying that you're gonna have a class action lawsuit. Am I able to, even though I already have a lawyer, be able to hire
Yep.
you for that part? Because
Yep.
okay, so
You keep that lawyer.
I
That lawyer. You already paid that lawyer to do all the stuff, like go to the interview. That's all
everything.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then when you do decide to do the class action lawsuit, now that you know your employees have my email, my phone number, would they send me a email or message
Yeah.
that way I can send the payment and just be part of this lawsuit?
Yes. Lady, will you add them to the list, please? Yep. All right, we got you, CHNV. I'm sorry. Good luck with IVF. Good luck with. Hopefully, the interview goes ahead, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Sorry.
I really appreciate everything that you and your staff do, like giving us the information real time, even if it's things that it's hard to really hear it, but it's the reality. And really, God bless you. And I know you said can I say God bless, or with Muslim is it
Of course.
Allah, whichever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Muslims
I
believe in
really
God for
appreciate
sure.
it.
Thanks for the
I know
call.
in God, but the name, I'm like,
Okay.
I didn't want to
It's all
misspeak,
good.
but I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Good luck. I'm sorry. Don't be sad.
I'm trying not to, but thank you.
Easy for me to say. Easy for me to say. Can you guys hear it? Can you hear it in people's hearts? How sad they are? Fucking bullshit this is. Man, it makes me mad. John is here. Hello, John.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, I have my wife with me. Is that okay?
Of course, side character. Hello.
Hi, I'm the wife. I've got a complicated scenario that I'd like to present to you. I'm a Canadian citizen studying in the States on an F1 visa in the medical field. My passport just recently expired on the 27th of November, and there have been some Canada Post delays, and so my new passport has not even been shipped to me yet. So I'm here currently on an F1 visa without a passport. I recently also discovered that my I-94 was processed incorrectly at the Miami border back in January of this year. It says B2 visitor status. So yesterday I went to the deferred inspections office, but since my passport was expired, they said they would not correct my I-94, and they said that since I am out of status, that I'd have to leave the US. I recently married my husband, who is a US citizen, and I'm applying for medical residency programs, which kind of happens in March. It's a hard deadline. And we have not applied for adjustment of status because we've been trying to figure out which route I should go in terms of whether applying using an H-1 visa to be in residency or to go the green card route. But now I have this acute situation where my I-94 is incorrect, and I'm not sure how to go about this current situation and then looking forward to the future in my residency.
You walked into CBP voluntarily without talking to a lawyer?
I did.
Oh my God. You know, they could have taken you into custody right there.
And as soon as I got there, I realized, once they started talking to me, I realized how scary that was.
Yes. Well, I'm glad that didn't happen. Okay.
Yeah.
When did you and your husband get married?
End of September.
And why have you waited to file? I don't understand. And why can't you do both? Why can't you have whatever H-1B route go and have the green card route go at the same time?
My understanding is that I wouldn't be able to have both, because then I wouldn't be able to apply for OPT with a green card or in process for a green card.
So, okay, that's fun. So we actually have 3 routes. Right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how H1Bs work for medical residency. Like I just refer that shit to a friend of mine. I don't deal with doctors because it's literally its own specialty. It's not because I don't like doctors. I love doctors.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that it's its own specialty, and I don't want to screw up any doctor's ability to stay in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to immigration, I am a suspenders and belt kind of guy. I like to have all my options open. Of course, you have the best option. I mean, I hate to say this. If you had applied in September, you might already have your green card.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, I feel like you're playing with fire, and I feel like you're being indecisive, and that you need to file for your marriage-based green card yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you two known each other?
For 2 years.
So it's a legit marriage and everything's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should have filed that right away. I would still file it right away, and then I would concentrate on that first. I wouldn't go back to CBP to visit my friends there anytime soon. I wouldn't leave the United States anytime soon. I wouldn't go anywhere where there's federal people until I have my passport. The I-94, I'm not that worried about. That's not a big a deal. You still have a valid I-20, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah. And when are you going to graduate?
In 6 months, in May.
Oh, geez. So you should definitely have your green card by then. So you might not even have to apply for OPT, but I would apply for all of it.
Okay.
And
so if I apply for...
If the medical school says you can start here on OPT, but you also should do an H-1B, then you do that too. You do all of it, not one or the other.
Okay. All right. So if I apply for OPT, I can still be in the adjustment of status process right now and look.
They might give you some trouble on the F1. I mean,
yeah.
They might give you some trouble because that's a non-immigrant visa, but they might also just approve it. So the biggest thing of all is to get your marriage-based green card on. I mean, green card cases are going really fast now. What city would have your interview?
We're in California, so
maybe Los Angeles.
3-4 months.
Okay.
And so just to clarify, even if we get that, well, we're getting that passport and we should have that next week. Stay in the U.S.
Don't go anywhere. No way. Right. She got too many things going. She got a bad I-94. She has a period with an expired passport. She's now married to a U.S. citizen. So I would say, yeah, don't go anywhere until you have your green card in your hand at the least. I'm telling even green card holders not to leave, but for sure, someone in your scenario, no way.
Okay.
And then is there any stage of the process where I can start to apply for jobs, or does it have to be a full-on green card? Because I know there are interim work permits.
Yeah. I don't know. That's something to ask your school about. I don't know about that stuff. When would you be doing those applications?
Applications are happening right now, and I've kind of applied to both programs that sponsor visas and programs that would that I could go to if I just had my green card. But the hard deadline for them hiring me is end of March like 25th.
Come on, dude. Let's get your green card. Come on, dude.
Okay, yeah, that's the next step then.
If you need our help, let me know.
Thank you.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. Got to get that shit on file. That's all I'm saying. Harsh, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Harsh.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Yeah, I had a case with my wife. We were living together, and then one day she cheated on me, put me in jail for the false domestic violence, and left same day with her new boyfriend while I was in custody. She took my laptop, deleted everything, right? But later on, we had filed already the green card. But later on in 2023, I got a green card approved without interview. So right now,
hold on. Did they approve the green card before she did that to you, or after she did that to you?
After she did that to me.
So they approved it without necessarily knowing that happened and that she moved out.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then I was arrested. I got my domestic violence charge dismissed, everything clean.
Okay.
Yeah. So Now I have filed I-751
Right.
to remove the condition. My question is, can I travel internationally or not?
F no.
Uh-huh.
No way.
I
The question is my green card going to get approved? You have no history with her after you got the green card. You have no history with her. How are you going to prove this is real?
I have filed I-751 under extreme cruelty. She did everything fake to me, and I have all the proof. She lied in the court. She sent me.
Okay.
She never been married.
Good.
Never been married to me. I forged her signature. Everything is lie. I have everything. We were living together for 1 year. I have every single proof. Really very good bank details. Really very good. Referral from her.
I don't think that's a really good case. I think it's a case. I think it's a very, very hard case. Do you have a lawyer?
Yes, I did have a lawyer.
Yeah. So there's no way in hell you should travel. No way.
Okay.
All right.
But I traveled one time before, so it's going to be.
Oh, okay, Harsh, go ahead and travel, bud. I'm sick of answering that question. I've told them not to leave. Don't leave the United States. They could deny your 751 and not let you back in. And just because you say she lied, they're probably going to go talk to her, and they're going to believe her, not you. That's how it works. All right, everybody. I am back. I'm back tomorrow at what time, lady? 4? I don't know. 2:30? I don't know. 3? 3:30. Yep. Can my wife? John's asking. We just spoke. Can my wife travel domestically with an F1 student visa and expired I-94? Is that risky too? I don't think I would do that. I know the holidays are coming, but I don't think I would do that. Thank you, everybody, very much. Yeah, this is it exactly. Should I travel? No, but I don't like that answer. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly it. All right, everybody, we'll be back tomorrow. 3:30 it is. Thank you, lady. Everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining. Have a good night, everybody. Peace out, and we'll see you later. Bye, guys.
I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.